It's the live sit and talk with Matthew Batrap.
Hey everybody, this is Matthew from MiniWarGaming, and this is another live sit and talk. I'm actually broadcasting from our studio. Thankfully there's no battle reports or anything going on. Didn't have time to set up all the lights though, so I apologize if I actually am pretty dark right here. That's because there's no really good lights coming in here. And I have to say, I'm rather tired right now, because Space Marine Week has been very draining, both like physically and like mentally and emotionally, just all the work we've been putting into it and have been putting into it for the past few weeks. So I hope that you've been enjoying it. I do see that Lord of Cheese says that he's been loving Space Marine Week, which is great. Thank you very much. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so I can read the chat better. Whew, that green that you chose, Lord of 30k Cheese, is hard to read. But anyway, yeah, we put a lot into it, a lot into the whole 10 DVD launch that we just did. And yeah, so I hope that you guys have been liking that and all the Space Marine content. Of course, we'll be returning to our regular broadcast shows. There's going to be some banter bat riffs next week. We're going to have our first ever Infinity battle report next week, which I'm really excited about because we actually recorded it. It's already done. So we're starting a new series all about that. Probably going to get Jay and Owen into Infinity as well, so that we can start covering that game more. But we actually, like, the first battle report is already recorded, already rendered. It's even uploaded and ready to go. So it really has been done. It's not just me saying, yeah, we're going to get the Infinity battle reports done. We finally finished one. It's been hectic. Lord of 30k Cheese asks if there's going to be any Infinity how to play videos, and eventually there will be. Right now we're still learning the game. The series of the battle reports is actually called Learning Infinity Bat Rep, so that kind of tells you the level of expertise that we have. And because the player base around here for Infinity is pretty much non-existent, there's only a handful of players. It's not like I have access to a hardcore group who really knows how to play. I have access to a few players who have played a few games themselves. It's not like War Machine or Warhammer, where the people you play against most likely know the rules well enough. So, DayZX says, I tend to ignore all the 40k content. Sorry, all the hard work you put in for Space Marine Week fell on deaf ears. Well, DayZX, no problem. Thankfully, you're a minority. Most people love Warhammer 40k, and the majority of our viewers are Warhammer 40k viewers, and of course Space Marines being as popular as they are, we thought we definitely had to do one. But don't worry, next week we will have Infinity battle reports, War Machine battle reports, of course 40k battle reports. There's going to be more unboxings for X-Wing and lots of other stuff scheduled. And our quick tips will be resuming as non-Space Marine stuff. It'll just be the general quick tips like Chris normally does. So that's already... That's already there, so that's great. Okay, so the live sit and talk, as you may know, and like I said, if I seem a little low energy right now, it's because I actually am low energy. It's been stressful, and so I'm going to try to just answer whatever questions you happen to have, and we'll just go until there's no more questions. There's not as many people on today. There's actually only like 23 people, which I'm surprised. And normally I have over 100. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe because I'm only doing them monthly, so people don't actually know when they're going to be happening. Or who knows why. Doesn't really matter. You guys are worth it if that's all we have here. It just means that you get to leave more questions. And for that reason, I actually won't put into slow mode, which means, ow, I just hit my knee on something, which means you won't have to worry about how many comments you leave. Of course, if it gets too busy, then I will. So yes, so basically the whole point of the live sit and talk is just for you to ask me whatever questions you want about whatever subject you want, about me or about business, or they can be personal questions even. Of course, I get to choose if I'm going to respond to them or not and how I respond to them. And then my normal weekly sit and talk, which is not live, which is every Friday, that I answer the questions from the comments from the previous sit and talk from the Friday before. So even though I'm doing a live one today, I'll probably still be doing a regular one tomorrow as well, because people really like them, so I've really got to do them. So for the rest of this time, I'm just going to answer questions, and because there's less of you, I'm sure there's more coming in right now, so maybe it's just... Did I send out the email? I did send out the email, right? Yep, email went out. I guess. Oh, I see. I forgot to turn on the notifier thing, so that'll bring in a few more people. Live sit and talk. Let's toggle that and turn it on. There. Now on the home page, it tells everybody that we're doing our live show. So yes. So anyways, so if there's less people, that just means they get to spend more time on your questions. I don't have to rush through them or anything. So go ahead, post whatever questions you like into the chat. And like I said, it can be wargaming related. It can be personal questions for me. It can be business related. It doesn't really matter. This is an informal live show where I basically just answer whatever questions you want. But like I said, I get to choose if I answer them, obviously. So let's go through this. Pork and Bean 69 says, what's your view on limited edition models, ranging from one-offs for books or novels to full games like Space Hulk? And do you mourn missing out on something? And then somebody else says there is no sound, but everybody else can hear me, right? I think there is sound, just not for you. Mix need 17. Okay, everybody else can hear me. That's good, but which makes sense because otherwise everybody would be saying that by now. So let me go back to that. What's my view on limited edition models? I think they're not a bad thing necessarily. There's reasons that companies will do them. Like I know you're thinking about Space Hulk, and you would think, why don't they make that a regular board game? And I agree with that. I almost wish they had licensed it out to Fantasy Flight and let them do a board game for that. But there's a reason they do it limited. In their case, well, and I'm going to be guessing at a few of these, but all this, like you said, is your view. For Games Workshop, they are a humongous company, and they occupy the majority of the market, and that's slowly changing, but they're still very big. And what that means is the market is pretty much as big as they are. In other words, all these smaller companies, when they come in, they can grow rapidly because there is an existing group of wargamers out there. In fact, that Games Workshop pretty much is solely responsible for having built. Now, there's other smaller groups and stuff. So say what you like about Games Workshop, they did build this miniature wargaming market from pretty much scratch or from very little. And so for them to grow their market, it's hard, percentage-wise, for their customer base to really grow, because they are the market, if that makes sense. Whereas like when Privateer Press, they can grow by getting new customers, but also by scooping up Warhammer players for whatever reason, whether they're sick of Warhammer or they just want a new game or they want more games, whatever it happens to be. So they have two places they can grab customers from, and that goes for any miniature company. They basically can work themselves to get somebody into miniature wargaming who's never gotten into miniature wargaming before and starting with their game, or they can get an existing wargaming player who plays other systems into it. And so for Games Workshop, though, it's not like Privateer Press and Corvus Belli and all these other ones are bringing in droves of new players that have never experienced in wargaming before, who can then find out about Warhammer 40K. And so their growth is going to be limited that way. So why am I saying all this? Because it really impacts how they're going to approach their lines. And so they've got these humongous lines of Warhammer 40K, Warhammer Fantasy, and even some good-sized lines for Lord of the Rings. And so when they look at their resources, they are limited. Whereas like you get Cool Mini or Not, who comes in, they create a game, they do a Kickstarter, and they've got $500,000 or $1 million. And that's wonderful. That's awesome. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And so all of a sudden, their company can really grow and support that new game that they just created. But for Games Workshop, they sell this game, Space Hulk, and sure, it sold really well at first, but those sales are going to drop down like crazy. In fact, they did drop like crazy when basically they sold out, but then a few months later, they still had a bunch in all their stores throughout the world, so they pulled them all out of the stores and had another few thousand copies, and those took forever to sell. And so it showed you that the interest dropped off really quick. Now, that could be a result of the fact that they were limited, but I have a funny suspicion that it's actually a result more of the fact that the sales would have dropped off anyways for Space Hulk. And so they have a choice. Do we create a product that we intend on supporting, even though it's going to drop off in sales? Because there's not really much else to do with it. Like, there's some expansions you can do with it, but really that's it. That game is done. Or do we put those same resources into releasing all these new codexes and do models for Warhammer 40k. And see, since they're kind of at that saturation level for the market, it's not like you can just say, well, just from the money they make from Space Hulk, they can hire new people to take care of Space Hulk. It's like it doesn't work that easily, because that revenue will drop off quickly, and this will be dead weight in the company. And so they have to take from existing resources there. So for them, it makes perfect sense for Space Hulk to be a limited release and just make a bunch of money from it. And also it creates excitement. It gets more people into the Warhammer 40k hobby because it's a nice entry-level thing. Like, you get this board game, you can learn this game really fast, and then you're like, this is cool. I like this whole Tyranids and Space Marine thing. And so then you get actually into the Warhammer 40k game. And then a few years later, you can release a new edition. And so instead, what they can do is, like, every year or two, they release another specialist game, and they can stop supporting it. So I think it makes perfect sense. As for, like, companies who all they produce is one-off models, they're more designing things for a collector's kind of thing. So that works as well. So in other words, I have no problem with it, and I actually think it's a good business move for a lot of different reasons. And it's going to be different reasons based on which company is doing it. Okay. Xandrew, Vecco, Matthew, I was interested in finding out more about Dark Potential and your need or desire for model makers. We're not currently working on Dark Potential. It's on hold, just while we get everything else settled. So there's not really much to say. Lord of 30k Cheese, to go off topic, there's no such thing in the Set and Talk. Do you want Dave in a tutu because of his bet? For those of you who don't know, he put up a video that Austin from Brush for Hire and him had a little friendly wager of how quickly we would get rid of the 500 copies of the massive 10 DVD collection. And whoever loses that wager has to wear a pink tutu in public and have it videotaped. And I want him to lose, for sure. And partly because it'll be funny to see him in a pink tutu, but partly because his part of the wager was actually that it would take longer. And so if he loses, that means that we got rid of them faster and we got more Vault members, which would be great. So if you want to see Dave in a pink tutu and you're not a Vault member right now, then go and get the 10 DVD release. You don't even have to keep the trial. Just get in there, get the 10 DVDs for the Masterclass Painting Power Armor. And the sooner you do that right now, the more likely he is to have to wear a pink tutu. Okay. Undead Pank says, what is your view on the Imperial Guard and their fluff? I like the Imperial Guard. I think they're a neat army. I wish more people would play them with masses of infantry rather than just masses of tanks. They kind of work fluff-wise, both of those, because they can be this fully mechanized army, or I just pictured more hordes of guys. Fluff-wise, I can't say I know a ton. I know enough about the Imperium and that fluff. I've even been reading the Ravener novels. I finally got into some 40k fluff. I talked about that in some of my previous sit and talks. So I like them. I think they're cool. I don't know what else I could say besides that. They're just your run-of-the-mill infantry, so it's not much special to talk about them. Shikurger, what do you think should get a new Codex next? Well, the rumors are that Dark Elves are getting their Codex in October, and also some releases in November. And then in January we will have Tyranids, which I'm very excited about. I'm definitely going to be doing some cool stuff with that, expanding my army collection, doing some battle reports, maybe even a Tyranid-themed week. And then there's dwarves that are, according to the rumors that I read on Bell of Lost Souls, it's Tyranids in January, dwarves in February, and Imperial Guard in March, although orcs are rumored to be coming out soon too. Who do I think needs it? Well, they've actually been updating a lot of the codexes pretty rapidly, like so rapidly that they haven't even been releasing that many miniatures with each of them. Orcs definitely need an update. Tyranids, they do need an update. Not as much as some other armies, though. Orcs need an update. Imperial Guard, I don't know if they need an update. It'll be nice for them to have an update. Space Wolves, maybe? Just thinking, basically all the ones that are still in 4th or 5th edition. Maybe, I don't know, Dark Eldar? I really don't know. I have a hard time thinking of that way because I don't actually follow really closely all of the Codex releases and stuff, just because we cover several games, and so it's hard to keep up with all of it. So, yeah, I don't know. Sorry if that's not a satisfactory answer. Dragon Wraith 699. Hey, can you guys put out a how to paint fire on armor plates on tanks and Space Marine legs and arms? You mean like freehanding fire? Well, Chris, with his quick tip videos, actually responds to comments. That's how he creates the quick tips. So if you are a Vault member, Dragon Wraith, then make sure you go onto one of Chris's latest quick tip videos and just post that exactly like that. If you're not a Vault member, well, then become one. Even just a bronze membership, which only costs like $3 a month if you get the yearly membership, will allow you to get access to that. And he actually does a pretty good job of responding to a lot of those questions. Pork and Bean 69 say they stopped producing Marneus Calgar tomorrow. Now he is limited edition because they won't make any more. Would you feel saddened by that? Oh, that's a hard one because you're talking about a limited edition model within the series of models that they continue to produce. I would say that this, okay, to answer your question first off, I don't know if I'd be saddened, but I don't think it would be necessarily a good idea. Instead, what would be a good idea would be to have a limited edition sculpt of Marneus Calgar. That would make more sense, because people are going to want to continue collecting that and adding it to their army. So it would make more sense to have a specific, like a special sculpt of the same miniature that's available as a limited edition thing. So, but yeah, it wouldn't make complete sense to just all of a sudden just take a character that people are going to want to add to their collection and just make them limited. Slender Mania says, I got my 3 friends into 40k. That's great. Yeah, and I'm kind of like the kingpin with a bunch of my friends too. When I first got into Lord of the Rings, then I got Dave into it, and then I got a few of my friends around us into it as well. Most of them don't play anymore, but then Dave and I started this business, and we've probably gotten a few people into 40k or some other games because of that. El Rogue Commando, if you could make a Space Hulk remake, would you still use the Gene Stealers and Terminators and keep it classic, or make big changes like, say, having Gaunts and Space Marines like regular ones? I think it would be cool. The way I see Space Hulk is it has a lot of potential for expansions to allow more of those things in there. Because in reality, Space Hulks aren't just infested with Gene Stealers. They can be infested with anything. If you're not aware of what a Space Hulk really is, it's basically a collection of ships who have kind of just crunched together in the warp, and they float around in the warp for who knows how long, and they periodically they just kind of phase into real space all over the place, but sometimes near a planet, and that's when they're dangerous because they could be full of demons or Gene Stealers, so they could seed a planet for a Tyranid infestation. And so it's not just Gene Stealers that are on them, it's just that the Space Hulk focuses on the Blood Angels versus the Tyranid threat that happened to be on that Space Hulk that they were dealing with. So it would be really cool if they did come out with expansions for it that did add in other armies. Because there's several that would make sense to be there, like more Tyranids obviously than just Gene Stealers. Although it does make, fluff-wise, it does make a lot of sense to have Gene Stealers specifically, because Gene Stealers, when a Tyranid hive is approaching the planet that they're on, they actually try to secure transport by sneaking on board and infiltrating into ships that are leaving. It's kind of their inner instinct is to get away from the hive fleet, and that's actually what drives the infestation out as they get smuggled onto other worlds. So it makes sense for Gene Stealers to be on there, but it could also make sense for like demons to be on there, or even like cultists or Chaos Space Marines, that kind of stuff as they come out of the warp. So you could have a few interesting expansions there. So I don't know if I would do a remake. I would want to expand it instead. Daisy X, do you believe the Fantasy Flight licensed game serves that same recruitment function? It wouldn't quite have the same effect, but at the same time, okay, to answer your question, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure if it would. It obviously doesn't fit completely because of who's selling it and where they're sold, but I think that it would. I think that if they had this continued going Space Hulk game with expansions and all this that got really well supported, that it would kind of get other people into it. There's a lot of people that get into the game after getting into, like, say, a role-playing game or a board game, those kind of things. So yeah, I would say that it does. Now, obviously, why Fantasy Flight does it, they don't care about necessarily recruiting people into the Warhammer 40k universe and getting them to play that one because they're their own company. They just want to make money from selling the board games. But yes, in my opinion, Games Workshop should be trying to get their IP into as many places as possible, to as many computer games, as many movies, and not just crappy movies made by a low-budget studio that's made Bionicles, but actually good movies. Because they have, as much as I'm not a humongous fan of their fluff, I can see that it would make some movies that could actually do really well. And even if they don't do like super blockbuster Iron Man 3 or the Avengers well, that doesn't matter. They don't have to have the $100 million budget in order for them to be a good movie. So yeah. Hopefully I answered your question. Minigirl 10, I thought it said pink Tau Tau. Are you referring to Dave's Tutu video? Lord of 30k Cheese, have you ever gone to Norway? No, I can't say that I have traveled to Norway or anywhere in Europe or Asia for that matter. I've been in places in Canada, mostly Eastern Canada, and here. I've been a bunch of places in the States, and I traveled to Tahiti. I was there for a couple of years as a missionary for my church. So that's the extent of where I've been. I'd love to be to Europe. I'd love to go to the Mediterranean. I'd love to go to England, all that kind of stuff. Maybe one day. We're bound to eventually plan a trip for MiniWarGaming to go over to the UK at least to get a bunch of battle reports in, but we'll see. Slendermania. Hey Matt, have you heard of the Hammer and Bolter online book series? I have. I don't know anything else about them. I just have heard them. Shacker Gear, where do you get that armors? If you're talking about this shirt that says this is my 6+ save shirt, which obviously you are, you go to miniwargaming.spreadshirt.com and you can buy all of our shirts there in whatever color you pretty much want. Undead Pink. I really want to fly over and play you guys because I love using a wide variety of models. It makes the game look a lot better and it is just more fun. Okay. That's a statement more than a question. Well, whenever you're able to come over here, make sure you email us beforehand so we can arrange it for you. Thomps4991, what is your favorite Space Marine unit? Good question. I haven't played Space Marines a lot yet. We're working on collecting their chapter, but not a big fan of their vehicles. If we're talking about aesthetics here, then probably like the Librarian and Terminator armor. I think that's pretty cool. I like those. Just a regular Space Marine. I actually like the looks of the Space Marines. I think they're kind of cool. Shakargur, what do you think has the best strength for points value? If you're talking about 40k, that's a hard question to answer. If you want to be more specific in your question, you can ask it again and maybe like specify Tyranids, maybe even like Tyranids elite choices or whatever. Because you can't. It's not easy to compare the units to the units because they don't just work in a vacuum. They work together. Lady Soria, do you like any of the Hordes armies? I do. I actually like most of the Hordes armies. I like the Legion army, except for some of the models look kind of weird. But I really like the Circle of Ouroboros. I like the Scorn guys. Trolls I would like, but I've been stomped to death so many times with them that I've actually developed this automatic dislike for their models, just because when I see them, I just like scowl and I don't like them. And I'm being serious. But otherwise, I think I would like a Troll army the best out of all of them. And Dr. Rocktopus says, what's your favorite color? Purple is the correct answer. I don't actually have a favorite color. And if I did, it probably wouldn't be purple. Just saying. Lord of 30k Cheese, what is your favorite Tyranid unit or model, even though you don't like the look of them? Well, look-wise, let me think. If you're talking aesthetics, then it would be the Hormigons. I like a big swarm of Hormigons. Or the Carnifexes if they just have scything talons, because those look pretty cool too. I'd probably have to say that. Actually, fielding-wise, there's a few things I like. I like Hormigons, I like Turbogons, I like Hive Tyrants. You know, the ones that really win you the games. Slendermania. I just played my first game a week ago, and sadly, I kind of destroyed them. I really do like the Space Wolves. That's great. I hope that you enjoy that. Bartlam, in the 40k Kane book, there are orcs on Space Hulks. Oh, I didn't know that. See, I guess that can make sense too. Matt, when are you going to do more Necron battle reports? You got me into Necrons. Soon, probably. We don't plan out far ahead all the different battle reports we're doing. We just kind of take it as it goes when people come and challenge us. So, yeah. Moldak. Hi, Matt. At last, I managed to watch your show live. Well, welcome, Moldak. I wonder if you're going to show some quick tips on how to paint Space Wolves, both traditionally and in ordinary gray colors. I know it's a more question to Chris, but I'm asking you anyway. Well, Moldak, if you are a Vault member, there are already some in there. Specifically, if you are a Silver or Gold Vault member, or if you signed up for the Bronze membership by getting the 10 DVD series that we just came out with yesterday, there are multiple videos. There's actually a few videos that teach you how to paint the Space Wolves color scheme. And if you are a Vault member at all, then those are also available in the Vault, so you can take a look at those. Bartlam, woo, come to England one day. Dragon Wraith 699, do you have a tip for me? Because I am in the works of doing an army of Legion of the Damned, trying to see how to do the points for all the different types of army selections and keep all their Legion special rules. No tips whatsoever. Sorry. Moldak. And when you're in England, you should come to Sweden as well. Noted. Elrogue Commando, do you think the Space Marine Centurion was a good idea? Well, obviously people don't like the model, but you can't really know that ahead of time if people are going to like the models. Like, you might think, well, obviously it looks bad, but it doesn't obviously look bad. It's just, in hindsight, it looks bad. Model, like, we have to wait for it to get played out a bit more so we can see how it works into the meta of the 40k competitive game. Because it's the only place that really matters how well it works is in competitive plane and tournament plane. In friendly plane, it doesn't matter because you can bring anything and win or lose because your opponent could bring anything to you. You can have more fun and play more fluffy. I think that the Centurion Devastators are actually going to prove to be very powerful when used properly, when screened properly, when with the proper synergy with other units. The Centurion Assault guys, I can't see them being that useful except for very few occasions. So that's what I think. So I think they're a good idea. Sure, we need more variety in Space Marines, so why not? Undead Pink, what army in 40k do you find the hardest to beat? If I'm playing Tyranids, Dark Eldar seems to be the one that I have yet to really be able to fight against. Eldar as well, if they're playing like really to kill Tyranids, they can do pretty well. So I say that's the hardest for me. As Necrons, I haven't really had a hard time with anybody. So it's hard to say. We got a bunch of people saying, hi, Matt. Hi, Chief Mouse 911, and hi, Max Darnett. Lady Soria, are you planning on joining the Warmahorde League that's going on, or that is purely Owen's thing? Actually, the league is now done. It's just you're seeing them released slowly. I am not part of the league. Owen wasn't part of the league either. He just plays when there was no other player. We actually recruited a group of players locally, and they did all those. So most of them are actually like third person, like Owen is narrating what's happening there. So no, that's more Owen taking care of that. Crimson Gear, hola, como esta? Revo 50, what do you think about the new Hierophant rules? Oh, like the Tyranid Biotitan? I think it's fine. He's underwhelming before, and he is still underwhelming now. I wish they gave him a better invulnerable save, but what are you going to do? Ultra Blood. Hey, Matt, you mentioned in one of your Codex review videos that you would have rolled all the Marines into the Codex, but how would you work? How would you work in the Space Wolves, as from what I have been told, they don't follow the Codex Astartes? I know as a Blood Angels player, if it got me updated points values, I would have been good with it. I know a lot of people, it's kind of controversial, not, like not super controversial, but like people are like, no, don't touch my Codex, don't roll it into another one. But I'm like, but then it gets updated more often, and that would be good too. It's not really a matter of the Codex Astartes and all that kind of stuff, because you just bring the Space Wolves guys. Now, Space Wolves are probably one that would be harder to, because they have more unique guys. It's more like the Black Templar, who only had a couple unique units, and the Blood Angels don't really have any. Like, what is unique to the Blood Angels, besides some named characters? You can say, well, their Assault Marines are troop choices, but you can say that. You can say, when you bring this Blood Angels captain, or you take the Blood Angels chapter tactic, then Assault Marines become troop choices, or whatever. They do that in the book. They have the White Scars one, the White Scars guy, that when you bring him, all of a sudden bikes are all troop choices. So you can handle that kind of stuff. This is the reason Grey Knights shouldn't be rolled in, because they're too different. There's too many things that are different, too many different models. What it comes down to is how many models are unique to that army. And with Blood Angels and Black Templar, there aren't very many. Even Dark Angels. Even Dark Angels, I think, should be rolled into that. I know some people are like, but they don't work in this, they don't really follow the Codex Astartes, but that's fluff. I'm talking about like mechanics. You won't see much of a difference. So you just say these guys become troop choices when you bring this guy, and then you have their chapter tactics, and that's all you really need to do. So Space Wolves, I know some people have pointed out that I said Space Wolves should have got rolled in, but upon further thinking about it, because we don't always think about what we say before we say it, I probably would have them separate just because it's too much unique to them. Elro Commando, would you guys ever have your own chapter warband like the Alpha Legion? Yeah, we're working on the MiniWarGaming chapter right now. In fact, we need to choose a winner of the contest for the chapter colors. I think we already have one that we really like, so we will do that one. And then we're going to start painting. It'll build up. We've got about 1,200 points ready to go, but we need to know the color scheme before we can get going with that. So it'll be the MiniWarGaming chapter. Lord of 30k Cheese, what will the Primarch of the MiniWarGaming Space Marines be? And what chapter rules will you use in battle reports? Well, for the official MiniWarGaming rules, we're probably going to use the Ultramarines chapter tactics just because they're all around, but they're going to have an unknown descent, or ancestry, so nobody really knows what Primarch they are. Molduck, thanks for the answer. I'll check it out, and I am a gold member for 2 odd months or so now. Love your work. Keep it going. Thank you very much. Bartlam, do you think 40k should bring out a new faction? Because I think they should. No, definitely not. They've got almost too many as it is. So they got a lot of work to do just to update the ones that are there. Although it would be kind of cool. But, yeah, we'll see. Omarkan71, if you were a Black Templar player, what would be your first selection from the full option Marine list? See, I've never been a Black Marine or a Black Templar player, so I don't know them well enough to really answer that. So I'm sorry. I have no interest in playing Black Templars. So when I get a question like that, I'm just like, I don't know, because who cares? Just Black Templars. Sorry, Black Templar players. Undead Pank, what is your favorite Necron special character in terms of looks, fluff, and gameplay? Oh, I like Trazy the Infinite. He's kind of funny in the way that he works. So I think he'd be my favorite. Lady Soria, are you planning on doing any other leagues or campaigns with other games? Yeah, we actually that one was a test to see, because the struggle we were having was not getting enough War Machine battle reports in because the local players just weren't coming in for enough games, and so that was kind of an incentive thing because there's actually prizes to be won and all that. And that worked really well. So we actually are starting a Warhammer Fantasy League in about a week or two, so you should start to see regular Warhammer Fantasy battle reports. And I want to start an Infinity League as well. We don't really have to do 40k because we get enough players coming in for that. But I might even start a 40k league as well. Slender Mania. Hey Matt, my best friend is having a bit of a falling out because of how squishy cultists are. Are there any tips you have for him? Cultists are supposed to be squishy. They are actually very good because of how cheap they are, so you're able to spam a lot of them. And if he's having a falling out because of the Chaos Space Marines, then that's kind of interesting because Chaos Space Marines are actually quite a good army right now. So my tips would be to learn the army better, and I'm being serious, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, and to just try out different tactics. Get some Helldrakes, they're really good. Lord of 30k Cheese, what was your most fun game of 40k ever on video? I've been asked that question a lot of times, and I can't answer it because I don't remember. I say that my most fun games are those that come down to the wire that are really, really close. Those are the games I like the most. Max, darn it, Wolves were an expansion to the Space Marine Codex, and I wouldn't mind if we were rolled back to an extension. Well, there you go, people. Space Wolves player says he wouldn't mind. Toe Jam Bob, finally managed to get on one of your live sit and talks, and now I got to go. Sorry, see you later, Toe Jam Bob. Chief Mouse 911, Matt, when you come to Valhalla, can I get an X-Wing game with you? Sure. I think I'm actually going to be bringing X-Wing, unless they already have it there. Dr. Rocktopus, with the recent wave of Codex releases, supplements, and expansion support, exclusively Apocalypse as of now, do you think this will extend to other expansions? Planet Strike and Cities of Death? I have no idea. They should. They need to update them for the latest editions, but I think they'll eventually do it. The question is when. Slender Marine, playing Minecraft whilst listening to a live sit and talk. Can't have anything better than that, right? Toe Jam Bob, Templars were really hard to beat if they have a good player behind them. I wasn't saying that Black Templars aren't any good. I just don't have any particular desire to play them. Omar Khan 71, it seems the White Scars are getting a lot of buzz with the new chapter tactics. Do you think they are going to be the new competition army? Well, I saw Owen played a few times and he won really well, but that was against Jay, and Jay was just kind of not bringing the best type of army to go against that. And so it's hard to say if they are good or not. I know Owen likes them a lot, and Owen is pretty good at tactics, so I would say that that means that there is definitely a lot of potential for the White Scars. So why not? It'd be kind of fun to see them. And it's kind of fun because we actually have a White Scars army that I picked up off of eBay a while back. Or off of somebody, I can't remember. Undead Pank, are there any 40k books you could recommend? I've only read the first of the Ravener series. I'm in the middle of the second one, and I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend it. It was good. I wouldn't say it was great, though. It was good, though. I'm not disappointed for having read it. So I guess that's the only one I've read. So I guess that one I could recommend, kind of. I'd like to read one about either the Imperial Guard or Dark Eldar, because those are two of my favorite armies. See, I'm going to stay as far away from the Dark Eldar as possible because they're just kind of disturbing. And when they're just miniatures on the table, that's one thing. But then when you get a book that's explaining all the wonderful things that they do to their victims, that's something I don't want to read about. Lord of 30k Cheese, if you could have 3 wishes, what would they be? And you can't wish for more wishes. Well, okay, if you're talking personally or just for fun, because personally that would be very personal, and obviously it would be things like, well, yeah, that's hard to talk about because it gets really deep into stuff. But for fun, I would say I would want 1 million Vault members, because then we'd have the money necessary to hire tons of employees and make tons of videos and make all sorts of miniature war games and open up our own production facility and all that kind of stuff. That would actually sum up all 3 of them. That would be enough. Just getting 1 million Vault members. That would be so awesome. Mortimus27, when are you going to Valhalla? In like less than 4 weeks, or maybe in 4 weeks. No, less than 4 weeks, because it's the 21st to the 26th, I believe. That week of October. Sketh1, hey all. Hey Sketh, thank you for the YouTube testimonial, by the way. I saw that you uploaded. I haven't checked all the other testimonials yet, but I saw yours. You're the first one to put up a video testimonial, so thank you. If you are the same Sketh as the Sketh who posts on the site. Pork and Beans 69, what's your view on Khador Bombardiers? They were an event exclusive that shows how they are piloted. There was an event exclusive that shows how they're piloted. They seem interesting. I haven't really played with them, so I can't really give an opinion. I'm sorry. Alrogue Commando, do you think a chaplain or a librarian would be better for Dark Angels HQ? Librarian. I don't know anything about Dark Angels. Bartlam, Matt, do you play StarCraft? If so, would you want a game? Also, battle reports for StarCraft? I don't currently play StarCraft. I played StarCraft 1 a lot. StarCraft 2, I played the single player. I played some multiplayer, but I just don't have the time to really dedicate to getting good at the multiplayer. So I don't really play StarCraft 2. I like it. I watch battle reports all the time. I watch Husky StarCraft. He's my favorite caster. And how about battle reports for StarCraft? It's not really related to our field. Like, sure, people like video games, but it's just not something that we're working on right now. Revo50, with the weight loss challenge going on, any chance you and Dave would team up with Joe for a Tough Mudder event? I know I'd be down to travel out and join a MiniWarGaming Tough Mudder team. Well, there's always a chance. I don't know if I have any interest in killing myself, though. So I'm not very tough. I'm more a baby. Lady Soria, following the introduction of a 6 faction for War Machine, do you think Hordes will get another faction anytime soon? And what do you think it will be? It's funny when people ask me questions about what I think companies will do next, because I'll be honest, I really have no idea. It's not like I have some sort of insider's pulse on the market or even really know what they should do, because I'm not a games manufacturer. I just make some videos and have other people work for us and make videos. It seems like a logical extension that Hordes would get another one. What would they be? I don't know enough about the fluff to really see where the holes are. So, I don't know. Also, do your kids show any interest in MiniWarGaming? Not yet. My boy is almost 4, and my little girl is almost 2. My 10-year-old niece just started an Everblight army and wants to start a Crix army. That's kind of funny. Slendermania. I like playing Space Wolves, especially when I troll with an entire squad of Blood Claws converted to look like Sisters of Battle. That is pretty funny, actually. Underpank. Is it strange that I like that Dark Eldar torture stuff? Strange? I don't know if I'd say strange, but maybe a little disturbing. But apart from the darkness of their fluff, what do you think of the models? Don't like their models very much. Because, well, yeah, I can't say that completely. Well, the models are alright. They're alright. Whatever. Slender Marine says they look too thin, which is funny coming from somebody whose name is Slender Mania. Sorry, not Slender Marine, Slender Mania. It's that green text that you have your name in. It's hard to read. Sketh1, I heard my name. What happened? Twitch gave me an ad, lol. Oh, I was just thanking you, Sketh, for submitting that video testimonial, if you are the same Sketh from this Sketh on our site. Bartlam, Gaunt's Ghost is an awesome Black Library series. So I hear. Maybe I'll pick it up eventually. Pork and Bean 69. Whoops, didn't mean to type that in there. Revo, bah, if I can survive Tough Mudder, you can too. Yeah, maybe. But the question is, do I want to? Lord of 30k Cheese, how many points of NIDS do you have? Probably about 10,000 painted. And did you get any of the Necron Super Heavies? Have you played any games of the new Apocalypse Rules? I did, actually. I got the 2 of the Necron Super Heavies, 1 for each of them, and they're getting painted up right now. Jack or Daxter, do you have any major difficulty playing Eldar or Tau with Necrons? Because I have lost every game since their new release. I haven't really played the Eldar with my Necrons, nor have I really... Did I play the Tau once? I can't remember. I played the Tau with my Tyranids and I beat them. So, can't answer that. Haven't played enough games. Omarkan71, what's the next 40k Codex to be released and when is a new Orc Codex coming out? From the rumors, January is Tyranids, February is Dwarves from Fantasy, and March is Imperial Guard, and Orcs shortly to follow after that. Sketh1, I am the same Sketh, the one and only Sketh. LOL, you're welcome, Matt. Gotta give back when you guys call for help. Thank you, Sketh. You're awesome. Randomizer, is the Space Hulk terrain complete? What Space Hulk terrain are you talking about? If you're talking about the stuff that Fireman Tim started like 5 years ago, no, that never got complete. I think it's in the garbage. It will never get complete. Undead Pank, what is your opinion on some of the Forge World models? Which ones in particular? I think some of them look crappy, and some of them look phenomenal. So I guess that would be my opinion. Elro Commando, in terms of Games Workshop's prices, is less really more and more really less, in your opinion? I think that they set their prices according to what they think they should set them at. Their number of customers are going down, but not necessarily because their prices have gone up, but because of just unwillingness to bend to the market, and also because they're so big that all these other companies are finally coming in and start to pick off a lot of their customer base. Ricasso, what allies would you get for your Necron army? In my meta, I meet a lot of Rune Priests and Eldar, and I have a hard time countering their Psychers. I actually haven't played a lot with allies, so I'm not quite sure. Necrons and Tau would kind of be cool, but I can see how Necrons and Eldar would be neat too. Pork and Beans 69, have you seen the latest Hag Troll from Forge World? It's a bit graphic. I haven't, but I heard about it. Let me go take a look at it right now, and I will give you my opinion. This is like legitimate opinion, just like right off the bat. Hag Troll, Hag Troll, Hag Troll, Hag Troll. Can somebody post a link in the comments or in the chat so I can see where it is? New stuff. Is it just under new stuff? Oh, Giant River Troll Hag. Whoa, those are some saggy breasts. The model is phenomenally sculpted, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of, that kind of stuff. Not that I'm thinking it's sexual or anything. It's gross. So I think when my kids are playing at this game, do I want them to have or see those types of models? And the answer to that question would be no. But it is phenomenally sculpted, and that looks like a really cool model. So I guess that's my opinion on the whole thing. Whoa, a bunch of people just posted comments. Slendermania, can you change the color your username is? I don't know. I think you have to be like a pro member to do that. I'm not quite sure. Kegley Winks, hi. Just wanted to say that you guys are awesome, and I love what you do. Thank you, Kegley Winks. Do you ever think you will play Signar in War Machine? Probably not, because Owen plays them, and there's no point crossing over armies when you only have so many people playing to begin with. Undead Pink. Okay, sorry I wasn't very specific. What do you think of the Tyranid ones? So which one's the best points? Well, the Doom of Malantai is by far the one that's always performs exactly the way he should. Other than that, I would say the Turvagons for sure, because they spawn Gaunts, which really drop their points costs. And Gaunts, they're good too. The Hive Tyrant, he always seems to make back his points for me, so I'd say he's really good. But if you're really looking at a points and cost usage thingy to how strong they are, Doom and Malantai will probably win out. And then like Turvagons after that. Sketh 1, Keg, click the cog, and you can change the color. Ah, yeah. Max Darnett, the new Forge World flyer looks fantastic, but it's a bit steep in price. That would be Forge World. You think Games Workshop is expensive, and you add on Forge World, and it gets even more expensive. I'll wait to see what Flyer Wolves get in the new decks before I get my wallet out. Captain Obvious, I've missed 45 minutes of this episode, haven't I? Yes, you have, but thankfully it is recorded and will be put on the website tonight. Sketh 1, Captain, no worries, I got here late as well. Pork and Bean 69 asked Chris if he would enjoy painting it. He's not here, I can't. Dragon Wraith 699, give it a bra. Captain Obvious, I completely forgot it was on Sketh, haha. Just checked site and saw it was live. Oh, you're talking to Sketh. Matt Cert, don't judge. You should look so good after 40 troll kids. Yeah, I guess if I had 40 troll kids, I would maybe look that bad. But she can still at least like wrap something around it, you know. Yeah. Bartlam, watched MiniWarGaming for 3 years. Loving your work. Keep it up. Thank you. Okay, Lord of 30K Cheese. Have you ever played or played against a full Forge World army? I haven't, but that would be really cool. Do you how many dice are in the box behind you? And do you know how many dice are in the box behind you on the brown table? That one? I don't know. Maybe like 40 or 50? We got more, but we need lots of dice. We play lots of games. Beep 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 beep. Themier, I'm so depressed because you're late. Oh, because you said, hey everyone, sorry I'm late. Sorry. There's always next month. I do these once a month. Undead Pank, what is the biggest gun you have ever seen on a model? What kind of question is that? I guess like the Baneblade gun? Scott Uki 13, you guys have inspired me with Space Marines. I'm a new player, so can you recommend me an awesome chapter? Yes, the MiniWarGaming chapter. You should build everything that we build. Paint just exactly the way we paint. And play exactly the way that we play. That's my recommendation. Slendermania, haha. 69 people watching right now. Aha. You're so... Well, that's 63 right now, so your comment scared them all away. Max, darn it, Owen needs to do his live show earlier. I have to go to bed when he starts. Sorry. DrewBob33, how do you fight Chaos Space Marines with Tyranids? I haven't actually played a lot against Chaos Space Marines, but how would I fight them would be with Flying Hive Tyrants and hordes of Hormagaunts and Turvagons. That would be the competitive list that I would create. Or maybe just no Hormagaunts, just lots and lots of Termagants with like 3 Turvagons. 2 Flying Hive Tyrants, 3 Turvagons, 3 groups of Termagants. Just wreaking havoc and having lots of psychic awesomeness. That's how I would fight them. My friend has a lot of force weapons that ignore my monster's creature armor and one-shots them. He also makes his involved saves all the time on his Terminators. How do you recommend killing Terminators? Terminators are easy to kill, man. Just get lots of Hormagaunts with poison. Super easy. Just inflict lots of wounds. If he always makes his saves, well, there's nothing you can do about that. Sorry. Thamier, I just gotten back from gaming club, was sitting painting and glanced to the side at the model the guy next to me is painting compared to my own. My jaw dropped. Could be because the guy is a Golden Demon winner. That's true. Mortimus 27, what time is it there? If you're talking about here, it is 3:50 p.m. It is Eastern time. Elro Commando, Bien Blade. Thamier 1, it was a dark elf he was painting. He even painted the skin, so there was a hint of wanes under the skin. Wow, that's crazy. Sketh 1, Thamier, I get the feeling that every time I look at GW's pics on their website. Scott Uki 13, which are your favorite chapter tactics? I think the White Scars are cool, the Ultramarines are cool, the Imperial Fists are cool, Salamanders are cool. I like a lot of them. I don't like the Black Templar one. Beep 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 beep. Captain Obvious, Matt, is the MiniWarGaming army done? No, it's not even started because we're still picking a color scheme. But then it'll progress fast after that. So we have painters lined up for it. Daisy X, what factions from what games do you think have the greatest potential to cross into different game fluff? Malifaux Arcanist into War Machine, Scorn and Warhammer Fantasy, Tau and Infinity, etc. That's a funny question. Imperial Guard, just because they're people, they can appear almost anywhere that's sci-fi, right? So that goes for like the Bretonians and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be kind of cool to have some sort of crossover game. You know, just like some third party who doesn't make any money from it because they would get sued by everybody. Creates a crossover of War Machine and Warhammer. That'd be kind of fun. Lord of 30k Cheese, what is the most impressive army you have ever seen or played, like converted while painted? There's a few. There's like Andy Mudge's Orcs. They're really cool. Just the theme that they all have. There's that Star Wars Imperial Guard army player. There's the Imperial Guard Canadians by one guy from Ottawa. So there's been a few, I would say. Elro Commando Matt, have you ever fought with or against a model of the Emperor? No, I have not. I have seen them flying around occasionally and wondered if you ever got the chance to be in the presence of his glory. Nope, sorry, have not. What time is it? 3:52. Okay, we're going to finish pretty soon. I know it's a little before 4 o'clock, but my head's starting to hurt a little bit, and I'm kind of tired. Not that I don't appreciate all the questions. So I am going to randomly choose 2 more questions and answer those. So I'm going to close my eyes and give you 5 seconds, 10 seconds maybe, 10 to post any more questions that you want. 10, 9, 8, 7, stretching 6, 5, 9, 4, 3, 2, sign 1. All right, so questions. Drew Bob 33. As for flying hive tyrant tactics, do you just stay in the air as long as you can, shooting all day with twin link devours, or do you land and assault stuff? I do both, but I would say I stay in the air longer just because they're more shooty, and hope that I have like Iron Arm or at least endurance to cast. Warp speed is fun once you land, but it's more utility. Like if you see an opportunity, land and go after it. Okay, so come on, one more. Undead Pink, my brother just started NIDS. It is his birthday this Wednesday. What model do you think I should get him? He generally just loves all the NID models, so what would you recommend? My budget is around 150 pounds. If you're looking at one model, I think you can spend less than 150 pounds. The Turbogon, by far, has the most versatility. And then he can decide to make it a Tranifex if he wants to, which also is pretty cool. Okay, that's all the questions I'm going to answer today. Thank you very much for your participation. I'm sorry that I'm a little less energetic than normal because I am a little tired. Space Marine Week has been taxing. And if you want to help support us even more and you're not already a Vault member, if you are a Vault member, then you're already supporting us. Awesome. Thank you very much. If you're not a Vault member, feel free to take advantage of our awesome deal of getting the 10 Space Marine DVDs. They're Masterclass Painting Power Armor, but they're Space Marine DVDs. Don't tell anybody I said that. And you can get them for free for a limited time. Go check it out at miniwargaming.com/free DVDs. Or buy a t-shirt. Whatever. Support us so we can make more videos and keep covering awesome games. Thank you very much for coming. Stay tuned for Owen's live show a little later today. He'll be doing Gaming with the Cooler. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Happy wargaming.